Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what you're going to be seeing is we're going to be discussing Ohio State Buckeyes have named their starting quarterback. Obviously, I made a video a while back. I'll put the annotation in the top right part of the screen right now if you want to go check out that video. But basically, I discussed Ohio State breaking down of who they were going to make their starting quarterback. It's either going to be Kyle Mccord or Devin Brown. Obviously, they went ahead and made the decision, and we're going to break it down, chop it up, discuss it, and give my opinion on if I think they made the right choice. But without further ado, if you're going to enjoy, make sure you drop a like. And without further ado, let's get into it. Now, if you want to see me go more in depth with their details, their past, their recruiting path, and their lead up to being at Ohio State, like I said, go check out that video. I'll also put the link down in the description if you want to go actually watch that video. I go more in depth in that video. In this video, what we're going to be doing is just kind of going into my full opinion on, did I think Ryan Day made the right decision? Obviously, I want to say this lead up, this was a tough decision, I think, for the entire coaching staff, because when you look at the quarterbacks we've had over the years, like I've said in the other video, with JT Barrett, Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields, then CJ Stroud, these last three quarterbacks, Haskins, 15th overall pick, Justin Fields, 11th overall pick, CJ Stroud, 2nd overall pick, all first rounders. Ryan Day has some pressure on his shoulders of he's got to get this right. When it comes to the two guys, as the what exactly do you want to see to make their decision of who's going to play in the game, Ryan Day actually said it pretty well in this quote here. And he goes on to say, and I quote, "I think the first thing is you have to just go watch them play in the game. And it's one thing in practice, you see certain things, but to get tackled and to move the team down the field, finish them off on drives, do well on third downs, do well in the red zone, that's going to continue to play itself out during the season, and there's been teams that have done this similar before," quote. And that is an important emphasis, because they can practice all they want. These guys can have their highs, have their lows all throughout practice, but until they actually get on the field and play against other teams, you don't really know what they are. He does then go on to say, neither guy really even has experience with being the signal caller for this offense, which is going to be the main thing for Ryan Day, because with his play calls, he likes to get a lot of details in there, and you have to know what he's talking about, and you need to know how to go out there, line up your receivers, line up your front, and make sure you know what you're doing, because this offense can make you look like a top 10 quarterback or top 5 quarterback in college football if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, Ryan Day will pull you out of there so quick. Within this quarterback battle, Ryan Day pretty much, he didn't really say he wanted one of them to fail, but it was almost like in a quote, he was hoping for that. Because he did kind of go on to say in this article, it says, Day originally said he'd like to see a sizable gap in play between his quarterbacks, but he described McCord's play as good enough to earn the starting job. He believes the more games that they play this season, the more coaches will see in terms of strengths, rhythm, and chemistry along with results. And Ryan Day did actually say something that was kind of on par with what I said. In the other video that I made, I did talk about how I feel like Ryan Day looks at what Urban Meyer did whenever he decided to go from JT Barrett and he moved on, and he had Joe Burrow and Dwayne Haskins, and he chose Dwayne Haskins. Not a bad mistake. Haskins had a really good career season at Ohio State, went on to the NFL, rest in peace. But Joe Burrow went on to LSU, have arguably the greatest college football season we've ever seen from a quarterback, maybe ever. And I think Ryan Day is looking at this team and he's going, this team is ready for a national championship. I have 2 elite quarterbacks. Whichever one I go with, he's scared that one of them is going to just take off and leave. And something that Ryan Day did go on to say is he kind of looked at this situation more of a Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts situation. If you remember back when Jalen Hurts was a starter at Alabama, Jalen Hurts was the starter for the entire freshman year, balled out, lost in the national championship. Sophomore year, did pretty well until that last game, I believe against Auburn. They still made the college football playoff, went to the national championship game against Georgia. Didn't do, I would say, the best. He got pulled in the second half, I believe. Tua Tagovailoa goes in. The rest is history. Makes that incredible overtime, I believe, second and 26 touchdown pass to Devontae Smith. And Tua won the starting job. Long story short, Jalen Hurts sat the entire year of his junior year. Tua went out there, played great for most of his career. Ended up Tua Tagovailoa got hurt towards the end of the season. Jalen Hurts had to go into the game against, I believe, Georgia in the SEC title game. Jalen Hurts balled out. And that's what I think Ryan Day is hoping out of these two guys is he doesn't want one of them to leave when that other one could possibly come in and save the day sometime in the season. To kind of put emphasis on it, he does say this, quote, "Now it's time to go play in the games, though, and we certainly have seen enough in practice to believe both of these guys can perform in a game." Day said, "Now it's time to go put it on the field, and when you're in the game, you really get an idea of what is going on. In practice, you try to give controlled setting, and you try to make them as game-like as possible, but again, it's time to go play." Now overall, what exactly is going to go on in the future? From what I'm hearing, Mccord is not probably going to stay the starter the entire year. Obviously, if he goes out there and he plays well and he's throwing 3, 4, 5 touchdowns a game these first 3 or 4 games, he's going to keep the starting job, obviously. But I think that Notre Dame game is going to be the big one. If he goes out there and he craps his pants, we might be having to look and see what we have in Devin Brown. But if Mccord goes out there against Notre Dame and we win that game like 44-28 and he cooks their defense like there's nothing left but ashes, oh, McCord's staying the starter. But like I said, I don't think it's going to take a massive screw up from McCord to lose that starting job. I think Ryan Day is going to look at this as well as another scenario of the Cardale Jones and JT Barrett situation where he might just go back and forth. Here's a crappy game, Kyle, you get the game. Here's another crappy game, Devin, you get the start. And he'll probably just alternate them between the two, seeing what he has, because for all he knows, he might have 2 elite quarterbacks right now, and why would you want an elite quarterback to just be sitting on the bench for the entire year? Overall, I think both guys are going to have good careers. It just depends on what exactly we get out of the two, because McCord, like I said in the other video, he's going to be a kind of guy to where if you give him time, he's going to make those passes. But Devin Brown, I feel like inside, I still think he was probably the better choice because of that mobility. Now, could McCord go out there and ball out and have some mobility? He could. Tell you what, when we play Indiana this Saturday, and if you're curious, at the time of recording this, it is Wednesday, the 30th of August. If by Saturday, McCord is starting and he doesn't ball out, oh, I'm going to have a fucking video up on Sunday night ranting. But other than that, that's all I got to discuss for today's video. If you wanted to enjoy today's video, as always, make sure you go drop a like. It is always appreciated if you do so. If there was any details I missed or anything you want to add on to the video, maybe anything you disagree with that I said, anything you agreed with that I said, leave it down in the comment section down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're brand new to the channel and you enjoy this kind of content, just sitting down talking sports, or maybe you're a fan of Cleveland sports, Ohio State sports, anything with sports talk will be here on the channel. So if you like that kind of stuff, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.